G'day folks, welcome back to Illusions of Glory, playing through live now, and we are picking up at the start of turn 9, summer 1916. The Balkan front has opened and has seen some early activity around here. The British have moved into Salonika. And, of course, I've realised a critical mistake I've been making. I have been playing, because I played so much Paths of Glory, I've been playing with the Central Powers going first. But it was pointed out to me that, in fact, the Allied Powers have first turns. That's a pretty big error. I'm going to quickly switch it over now to the correct rules. But thank you to A Limb of Great Tree for pointing it out to me. I just can't believe it's a single line rule in the rulebook. I had to go and check because they pointed it out. And I was like, are you sure? But yes, it is stated very clearly in the sequence of play. Here it is. The AP takes its first action first in each action round. I just missed that sentence completely. All right, so I'm going to correct it. Don't worry, we're going to continue with this gameplay, yeah, just accept that mistakes were made. Okay, so here's the sequence of play, and I'm just going to check everything is working okay. All right, so we have the mandatory offensive phase. So let's roll for the Allies. It's a 3, which is a British-French offensive. That'll have to be in the Balkans, down around the Salonika front. And then Central Powers have a 5, +1 is 6, which is Austro-Hungarian Italian front. They don't like that. It's just, they're not placed. I need the 11th Army to have a combined, because I've got this German force over here. The Austrians are going to, and they have to attack. The MOs in Illusions of Glory mean that you have to attack with a large combat unit, so it's tough. All right, let's get straight into the action phase. Let's look at the Central Powers hand first. What do they have? I haven't even had a look at these, so limited war could dawn a combat card. What is this? Any AP attack or defense that includes an Italian large combat unit gets a +1 dice roll modifier. Desperate Frankie. So look at this total war. These total war cards that we've got here. We have got Desperate Frankie. If the Serail... Now, I thought I brought... No. Did I bring this... I don't think I did bring the Serail headquarters out. There it is there. It hasn't been brought out yet. So if it's been limited, place a Despre. Cannot be played if there are no AP units. So I can't play that yet because, yeah, it hasn't been placed or eliminated yet. Okay. Force March. Up to 2 allied units of any type occupying spaces or stacks. I might make this a little bit bigger. That are not activated attack can be immediately placed in connected spaces where allied units are engaged in combat and participate in the combat. Okay, so what I can do there is, it's a combat card. I can activate a space for an attack and then bring in 2 additional units. I guess the value of that is I could play like a 2-ops card, activate 2 units, and then bring in 2 additional units. So it kind of converts a 2-ops into a 4-ops card, which is kind of convenient. Basically, it'll add 2-ops to the combat. Bulgarian army breaks. If Central Powers defense includes Bulgarian large combat units, the ally player rolls for offensive 5 first, and that would be great because this counts as a Bulgarian unit here. So if the French look to attack, I might set up for that attack, and then I can break. Although it's a nice big 4-up card, the ally player rolls first, and they reduce blah blah blah. So it's basically, yeah. End trench effects are cancelled. So it's a nice. There's no trenches here anyway. But a good card. Kerensky Offensive. Any allied attack that includes a Russian unit gets a +1 dice roll modifier. Can't be played after November coup. I haven't played that. Russian reinforcements. Be nice to get more Russian reinforcements. Still no Romania. Okay, so we'll likely see Romania coming in soon. What are we going to do with what we have here? And what's our MO? It is, that's right, British French down here. So look, I'm going to start by just 2 ops. Play as an ops. Yeah, play as an ops. I'm going to activate this space, 2 nationalities. Going to bring the French army up to Is it Fiorina or Florina? It's Florina. Okay. And then the Serbians. They're in Lemnos. The Serbian army. What are they going to do? Move them up to the Struma? Yeah. 1, 2, up to here. So we've got now a pretty decent Allied force along that Salonika front. The Austro-Hungarians really took their time to do anything. That's an ops card, and we're done. Right, so Allies first, then the Central Powers. Okay, Central Powers up next. They look at their hand, and I'm going to zoom in on this as well. And what have they got? Surrender of Fort Repel, lovely. This is what I want to play straight away. Wireless intercepts, Austro-Hungarian reinforcements, great. Hoffmann, Landwehr to the front, some nice cards. I definitely need this. Alright, so let's bring it down to Fort Repel, which is just down here. So Central Powers units in space is connected to Fort Repel or Doiran, which is here, can advance just one space to capture the fort and or trench intact. So you've got to choose one. All Greek units are moved to Lamia. Event cannot be played unless Greece is neutral. Unless Greece is neutral, yes, and Salonika is Allied controlled, yes. So that's the case. So I do want to play this. It gives me 1 VP and 1 Central Powers war status. Central Powers still not at total war. Hey Swago, welcome. And I want to capture. Now the question is it Fort Repel? I think it's Fort Repel because I want to move the Ottoman forces up. So basically, these guys retreat to Lamia. These guys capture the fort intact. Intact, without violating Greek neutrality. So that's a good event to play. Yep. So now I've got the Ottoman forces now on the front, engaged with the Serbians, but again it is summer, so look down in the bottom right here, it is summer, severe weather in swamps, so we don't want to be attacking the Struma right now. Doiran, however, is a mountain and it's not winter, so I've got a big Bulgarian force here, so is now the time to attack the Greeks and push through and try and gain some ground. Time will tell. Alright, so that's an event for the Central Powers. Alright, action round 2. What do the Allies want to play? Now again, what is their MO? It is a British or French. Okay, well we've got the French are set up now. Let's try and attack with the French before things get out of hand. Look, I've got these nice big... Any Italian attack that includes... I might... Until Italy enters the war. I know the Austrians will have to attack in Italy. I can use this on the defense. I could break the Bulgarian army now. So I could play this, break the Bulgarian army. I'll attack first. It's in the mountains, so let me just... I'll be 1 to the left, so I'll be attacking on the 5 column. CRT 5. I'm almost... Unless I roll a 1, I'll be guaranteed to cause a step loss. That'll reduce that to a 2, so they'll be counterattacking on a 2. And they'll be hard-pressed to cause a step loss on the French. So I might try and play... Although it's not... Do I play this combat card? What else? What are my other options? Where else? Where else do I want to get some stuff? Look, what I'm going to do, I've got a plan. I'm going to play this for 3 ops, right? So we're definitely going to attack with the French to satisfy our MO. But I know the Austrians will want to attack somewhere in the Italian front. So I'm going to try and entrench and entrench just to make it. Oh, actually, entrench. I think I've already got a trench there, right? Yeah, I do. All right, so just building some trenches here. Up the top, success. Down the bottom, success. Okay, that's just going to make it that much more difficult for the Austrians to satisfy their MO. Yep, and trench. So the Italians have trenches all along this front here. It means they can cancel retreats if needed. That's an important development. Okay, move, and now we've got this French combat down here, and I'm going to play the Bulgarian army breaks. If the Central Powers defense includes a Bulgarian or German Bulgarian large combat unit, I roll for my offensive fire first. So yes, they're in the mountains. And I'm on a road, so it's going to be a -1 to my die roll of 3. Okay, so it looks at, I said anything but a 1, so that's fine. So I go 6 to 8, down to 1 for the mountains, -1 for the road, gives me a 3, which is just what I need to flip them over. They now counter on 2 with no modifier. The 2-5 is a 3. Okay, so they do flip. I win the combat. No, I don't. It's a tie. All right, combat is tight, but the French have satisfied their MO, which is what we were doing there. We weren't looking to launch a major offensive here, just satisfy that MO. That's now done. That was my combat card. That's discarded. It's a big card. Probably a bit costly. Anyway, it's been done. And that was just another ops. Alright, Central Powers. Now the Austrians are a bit worried. There's still options here. I can attack down into Belluno. Now it's not winter anymore, and I think I made another mistake there. Last turn, I was applying the severe weather effects for mountains when I shouldn't have. It wasn't winter. I forgot. Alright. Let's look at my hand. I'd love to play Hoffman just to get the extra war status. I'm going to play 3 ops. I'm going to attack here because this seems to be my best option for the least costly type of attack. That's 1. And then where else? You know what? I'm going to go... I'm trying to get the Central Powers, the Germans, to the front. But you know what? I might play it a bit safer. Bulgarian army in Sofia. They're not really needed there, are they? I've got the Austrians back in Belgrade. It's a whole army there. What are my other options? I can't just leave this. I have to defend that. So I might... is that a clear terrain? No, it's in the mountains. I've got 2... look, let's keep the pressure on Warsaw. Of course. Right. So, 2 attacks taking place. 1, 2 there, and then 1 down here. I'll do this one first. Do I have any combat cards? I've got chlorine gas, which will help German combat units. And I've got wireless intercepts as well. If any allied attack... Yeah, okay, let's see if there's an allied attack with Russians. Allied player must, before their player, reduce a Russian large combat unit. That'd be good for Warsaw, but it's a 4-op card. Let's see what happens. Anyway, we'll do Austrian attack first. We've got 5. It'll be reduced to 1 because of the mountain. So 4 versus their 5. There's no trench there yet. Okay, so it's 4 on 5, and they both get +1 for their mountain infantry. Okay, so 4 + 1. Okay, that's a 4, and then 5 + 1. Ooh, is a 3. So the Austrians win that combat. 4 loss factors. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, hold on. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. And the Austrians just have to do 3. So that's satisfied. I don't think I can, yeah. So that satisfies their losses. And then the Italians will cancel the retreat by killing off their corps. So that was a good attack, it turns out. And they satisfy their MO, and they've put the Italians under pressure right here. I could have even brought in another unit, but it wouldn't have added much. 5, 6, 7 would have bumped me up 1 extra column, would have caused 1 extra step loss, which probably wouldn't have had much of a consequence anyway. Okay, so the Italians cancel that retreat, and yeah, we're doing okay. That was the Central Powers' second action, which again was just ops. And, oh sorry, and we've got this attack here. So we have 9, we have 16 plus on Warsaw with a 7, 8, 9, 10. So the 16 goes down to 15. Okay, now I've got to think about, do I want to play chlorine gas? Okay, so we're looking at this attack on Warsaw here. German large combat unit is attacking. The Allied player must reduce a Russian. So if they reduce it, it takes 1 off, so they'll go from 10 down to 9, which won't change anything. It'll reduce a German unit, it'll reduce a Russian unit, but it won't actually change the combat factors. So I don't think I'm going to play that. Yeah, it's kind of, apart from causing a free hit on the Russians, it won't actually do anything. I could always save this for a later combat when it could be more consequential. So not playing chlorine gas right now. And the Allies don't have anything they can use either. So we're looking at 15 versus 10, or 9 to 11 column, plus 1 because they have cavalry. Okay, they go up to the 12 column because of the trench. So we're looking at 15 versus 12 plus 1. So 15, 4 is a good roll. That's a 7. Perfect. I'm going to double check that. 15, 7, yes, because that's a really great result. Versus the 12, 4 is a 5. All right, so the Germans win this combat. So 5 loss factors. All they have to do is... Oh, they get a +1 as well. It doesn't matter, because I always forget they have that cavalry. So they have to flip a unit, and then they can't satisfy the remaining of their losses, so they leave it there. And then the Russians have to lose 7 loss factors. So 1, 2, they're going to have to lose one of these armies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Replace with a corps, a small combat unit. 7. Now, because they lost an army, they lose a troop quality. This is the rule I keep forgetting. If you spot it, yell it out. Okay, now the Russians lost that combat. To cancel the retreat, they will lose another corps. Okay, Warsaw, he's looking a bit vulnerable. Okay, so that's that done. And now it's the Allies' third action, and they need to do something in Warsaw. Hey, Brune, welcome. So, the Germans are putting pressure on Warsaw. They want to capture that fort. The Russians don't want them to capture that fort. They need to respond. How are they going to do so? They desperately need to respond immediately. Look, we've got a strong force in Grodno. Let's try and move 1, 2. Yeah, they can move that. So we can respond. That's fine. We are going to play... We're going to play this Force March card for 3 ops. I'm going to activate that for movement. I want to get the Italians 1, 2. Yeah, I can move them up into the mountains. 2, and it might be worth entrenching a few more positions along this front here. So where am I vulnerable to being flanked? Right here. 3. Right, so this one first, just trying to entrench, fail. Then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 up there. I'm going to go 1, 2. I'm going to keep that army just really close to everything. Where was the other action? It was a 3-up card. I think I only activated 2 spaces. Oh no, I tried to entrench. Yeah, 1, 2, and then this move here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Reinforce Warsaw. Brings me back up to a strength of 9 to 11 there. And leave those armies there. You can't entrench beyond a level 1. Right, so they're done. Allied turn 3 was more ops. Okay. That's alright. Central Powers turn 3. Central Powers. What are we going to do? Russians keep throwing forces in. We've got a lot of Austrian units in the dead pile. Oh no, these are Russian units, sorry. Where are the Austrians? Not so many Austrians. Well, a lot of Austrian core, but they've got a lot of depth. Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing having so many units in the replaceable box. More reinforcements. Can't be played before turn 5. I can play that now. I'm worried about the French here. This monastery is quite vulnerable and it's a VP location. Want to play Hoffman for the war status. A Central Powers flank attack attempt that includes a German large combat unit and an Allied flank attempt. There's a Russian receives -1. Okay, so when I'm attacking +1, when I'm defending -1 on a flank attempt. There aren't many opportunities for flank attempts. Here's one. No, that's Austrian. I've done that before, haven't I? Kelsey. There's trenches everywhere, so there's just not many opportunities. Italian front doesn't provide many opportunities. But look, let's play this for the event. Get the 3 ops out of the way, and 1 war status. Not the best situation, but yeah. So I get 3 ops. Look, I'll keep the pressure on the Russians. One, 2, and then I'm going to activate this for. Do I activate the large army? No, we'll activate this, and all we'll do is we'll move a Bulgarian corps 1, 2 to reinforce that, and then we'll seek to entrench here. Fail. Okay. And then our attack over here. So again, playing that combat card, chlorine gas won't change. Oh, actually it will. It'll reduce them down to an 8. They're currently on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So losing 1 step loss would bring them down to an 8. But, this one here. Is it worth spending it? Do I want to reduce that? Bring them down a column. Oh, really hurt the Russians. Is this the right time to do it? You know what? I think I just might throw 1 more combat before. Yeah, I do that. So look, I'm looking at 16 factors. Reduced because of the trench to 15, plus 1 because of my cavalry. They've got 9. It goes up to 12 plus 1. All right, so basically they're on 9. They go up plus 1. I'm thinking, do I want to play that combat card? It is tempting. I just want to go one more round of combat to really reduce the Russians, put a lot of pressure on them. Oh. If I come down to 6 to 8, so they're on 12 plus 1. If I use a combat card, they'll come down to this column. They're going to be plus 1, so there's a 50% chance they'll cause 7 loss factors, which I don't like. Here, it's a 33% chance with the plus 1 dice for a modifier. No, I don't think it's worth it. I'd rather hold on to that 4 op card. I think I get more value from the 4 ops than from the plus 1. So let's try this. Attacker first. Excellent. That is 7 loss factors for the Germans versus the Russians. Excellent. That is only 5 loss factors. So the Germans win that combat again. 5 loss factors. Unfortunately, it means I have to lose this. 1, 2, 3. They get replaced and then flipped 4, 5. And the Russians now have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Geez, they lose everything. 5, 6, and they get replaced by 2 core. 7. So they have lost both armies in Warsaw. And to cancel the retreat, they have to lose another army. And they lost 2 armies, so they lose 2 troop quality. All right. That's good. More pressure. It's just more pressure on the Russians. They can't play replacements. They either lose Warsaw or they rally to draw forces. All we're doing here is just keeping that pressure up. The Germans have lost 1 army. The Russians now, I believe, have lost 3 this turn. And look at the Russian armies there. A lot of Russian armies in that replaceable. So they've got a lot they can... That should be... it was played as the event, I'm pretty sure, a while ago. Okay. So that was more ops for the Germans. And yet the Russians hold. Okay, Allied turn 4. We have to play more ops if we want to hold Warsaw. Look, Ivangorod is a very strong place to hold. Probably don't need 2 armies there. There are no trenches in Lublin, I've just realised. I do have these core behind the lines. Can't move these armies. These are holding very well there, but 1, 2, and Tilsit's also very strong. So I don't need 3 armies there, but they can't reach Warsaw. So I'm going to have to pull some forces. And look at that, I've got my big yeah, I'm going to have to draw. I'm going to activate. I'm going to activate there, move to move an army up. I've got to figure out what I'm going to play. I don't want to be attacking. I'd love to bring the reinforcements on. I'm going to play this just for ops. Play for 3 ops. So 1, I think I'm going to move some armies around because I can clearly see the pressure in Poland. 1, 2, and then I might try and entrench here again. 3. So entrenching in Belluno, success. All right, great. And then just moving my big army 1, 2, 3 into Warsaw. The Russian elite. That does put pressure elsewhere on the line. 1, 2. I might hold in Grodno. 1, 2. No, I'll move them closer because clearly there's pressure in this area. So having that army just a little bit closer would help. Alright, so the Russians have gained reinforced Warsaw 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're back up to 10. It's a good strength. Every time they are at that 9 to 11 column, it bumps up because of the trench, which, it's always a risk of that 7 loss factor on the attacking Germans. So more ops for the Allies. Alright, the Central Powers. The Germans now have 9, 10, still got 16. +1. But now there are some other vulnerabilities in the lines. That's a clear space. So I could bring 7, comes down to 5 on 5 there. So I can just sort of, you know what? Okay, I could play right now. Broader strategic consideration. I could play replacements, which would help me rebuild those German armies. But I feel like I've got the Russians not necessarily panicking, but struggling. They have to keep rushing their forces to the front, and I want to keep the pressure on. And I've just noticed that Lublin doesn't have a trench. Do I want to... I don't really want the Austrians to be attacking too much. They're already a bit under pressure. Instead, I think I'm just going to keep pressure on with the Germans. So the German hand... I love this card. Love to hold on to it. Wireless intercepts. I might play for ops. Right, so an offensive along the front. We're going to go attacking into Kelsey. I know it's not a best odds, but attacking along here. Oh look, I've got all these forces here. And then actually, you know what? I'm going to set up for combat later. So we're going to move some forces around. Moving first, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 into Krakow, and then 1, 2, 3. So I've got some nice big stacks here, ready for an attack on Kielce. And then another attack on Warsaw. Again, we've got 16 versus 10. Comes down to 15 plus 1 versus 12. Then 9 goes up to 12 plus 1 because it's clear, and they still have their cavalry there. I've still got my cavalry there as well. All right, let's roll and see what happens. Probably the 6th battle for Warsaw. 4-5 is a 7. Beautiful. And a 12. 1-2 is a 4. So the Germans win combat again. They will flip that core. 1, 2, 3. Can't satisfy the remaining point. And this is the benefit of the German forces, because their loss factors are so large. Even when reduced, it's 3. So often when they're attacking, they don't have to resolve the remaining factors. So yeah, it's a key strength of those German armies. And then the poor Russians have to lose 7. So it's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, jeez. You know what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a reason for this. And then 7. And then to cancel the retreat, they have to take that step loss. Oops. No, that should just be a step loss. Oh boy. So they've cancelled the retreat. Warsaw holds, but situation getting desperate. I don't think Kielce can be held. I think the Russians have to pull back away from that. That's another large combat unit loss, so their troop quality comes down again. So you can see the impact of this just sustained German pressure. It's been a long time coming, but the Germans now, in 1916, have the army strength to start to just put this sustained pressure on the Russians. If they did this in 1915, I don't think it would have had the same impact, because they wouldn't have had, so the Russians are doing well to respond, but so again, if the Russians, it's Central Power's turn now, right? That was ops. The Allied play a 5th action. They could play replacements. They've certainly got the card. They could play Desperate Frankie. They've got reinforcements. They can play this card, but if they do so, guaranteed Warsaw will fall in the next turn. All right. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loss factors there, and that's all but guaranteed with this attacking force. So we can either give up Warsaw, and yes, we've got depth behind the lines, but the longer we hold Warsaw, the longer we... What are we doing here? I guess the longer we slow down. The Allies desperately want to play replacements, but they just need to catch a break. I think we need to give up ground, and I think it has to be in Kielce. Giving up that trench, Evongorod is much stronger to hold. Kielce is not a victory point place. That's what I'm going to do. So I could even do this with a 1-op. I have nothing else really of urgency. So I'm just going to play 1-op. And I'm going to move this place here. I'm going to go 1, 2... 1, 2, 3. Move my cavalry up there. And these guys are going to go 1, 2, 3. So I am desperately holding on to Warsaw, vacating Kielce. And I know the Germans are going to move in there, but 5, 6, 7, 8. And see, I'm weaker in Warsaw. And did I play chlorine gas? I did not play chlorine gas. This would be a good opportunity for the Germans to play chlorine gas. Keep in mind, the Allies don't know the Germans have chlorine gas. Okay, that's got to be the best move. I'd love to play replacements. Hopefully I get a breather on that last turn. Okay, Central Powers, you know what they're going to do. They're going to keep up that pressure. I've got 6, 9, 10, 16 again. So the Germans say, hey, time for Landwehr? Yeah, time for Landwehr. Not the event, the ops. Play for ops, Landwehr. I'm going to activate these guys for movement. I'm going to activate both of these for attack. You guessed it, Warsaw. Going to move into this space, Kielce, and I believe the trench, because it's level 1 trench, it should be removed. I'm just going to double check that rule. Make sure it hasn't changed from Pursuit of Glory to... Okay, removing trench. After a trench is built, if you move level, the marker is removed. Yep. Okay, so that's gone. They've captured that. Again, it's not a victory point. It doesn't have huge consequence. It's just a little bit of ground in southern Poland. Now, we have got exactly 16 on 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 16 on 8 to start. You know what? If I play chlorine gas, it reduces them to a 7, which isn't going to change anything. Again, it's not going to change the column. Let's just leave it. So I'm not going to play chlorine gas. I'm going to hold on to it and potentially play it as my last action. So I have got, because of the trench, it's 15. I still have my cavalry plus 1. The Russians have got 6 to 8. They still have their cavalry. That goes up to 9 plus 1. All right, so looking at 15 plus 1 versus 9 plus 1. All right, attacker first. Ooh, that's not good. That's 5 loss factors. 15 plus 1 is 5 versus the 9, 3 is a 4. So the Germans still win that combat. Okay, so 5 loss factors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 4. German small corps. Okay. You have to satisfy the losses if you can. I don't think I can, because if I eliminate that, it's replaced by a corps, which then can't flip. So what I could do is just flip this unit. 1, 2, 3. Can't satisfy the 4th. I don't have to worry about it. Now, the Russians have to retreat 1 space. They will cancel that by losing a step from that army. Again, Warsaw left under threat. The good news for the Russians is 8, 9... The Germans now only have a strength of 15, not 16, so they're a column weaker now on their next attack. The bad news for the Russians is they don't have many other forces to draw strength from. They're going to start weakening other forts along the front. They've got a couple of corps behind the lines here, but yeah. All right, so that was the 5th action. Allied player, their 6th action. Crikey. holding Warsaw. Do I keep throwing these Russian troops into the meat grinder? Actually, I didn't lose an army there, so yep, I was about to remove a troop morale, but I didn't lose an army there. Do I just give it up? Give up ground? Now I need the Great Retreat, which I think I played earlier. Looking at my hand, I could play this for some reinforcements. I can send an allied. I can get 4 Russian replacements, which would give me 2 armies. I need that as well. I think I have to give up Warsaw. It's such a great place to hold. No, you know what? Not yet. I'm going to play 4 ops. I'm going to go move, 1, 2. Move my cavalry up 3. And look at this, I've got armies over here. Tarnople has a trench with 3 armies. 4. So I'm moving all my forces. 1, 2, 3. Brody's just being held in reserve there. And then 1, 2. Leave the other armies there. And then move my cavalry up. 1, 2. Strengthen Novgorod. Looking good. And then 1, 2, 3. Grodno. Leaving those armies there. So look, the Russians have rallied again. And Warsaw back up to strength of 9. And Germans. Again, they could play replacements. Do I look? That was a allied ops. I love that. Oops. I love that chlorine gas card, but I would get 3 German replacements there. I could rebuild my armies. Austrians are certainly need rebuilding. The Allies won't get replacements this turn. And we can start building the pressure again next turn. So I think I'm going to play this for replacements. I get 2, I get 3 plus 1 for war industry. I get 1 allied, which probably... Oh no, there's Bulgarian loss. Okay, so that is going to replacements. And the poor allies missed out. So we have attrition phase, nothing happening, no sieges, no war status changes. The Central Powers are just 1 short. No rebellions, revolutions, replacements. We have 1, 2, and 4. So the 1, I believe, can be spent down here on this Bulgarian German. 2 Austrian, I might rebuild some Austrian corps. Yes, they've got an army there, but 1, 2. Don't want to be kind of left short. And then I have 4 German. So cover the front first. 1, 2. And then I do have an army here. Lots of German corps. I'll rebuild that there. Actually, I just realized... Yeah, no, that's fine. I should have rebuilt that, but it's fine. And 3, 4 for the Germans. So they're done. Oh, boy. The Allies are certainly feeling the pressure. And victory points they're in the lead, so the Allies are winning, but I don't know if Warsaw can hold out for long. Replacements are done. Strategy draw phase. I've got my... Oh, there are no cards in the deck, so we shuffle that back in and redraw off camera. And then the Allies will do the same. Where's their hand? What do we got here? Long live the Tsar. No uprising units. Reduce all Turkish large combat. Ooh, that'd be cool. Sarail, here we go. We'll get this out as soon as we can. -1 VP enlisted removes 1 large combat unit. I think they can do that. Alright, so a couple of options here. End of turn, we'll advance a turn marker. Here it is. It's now 1916. We are more than halfway through the war. Up to war status. Allies have a Russian. Fantastic, just what they don't want. And they have Austro-Hungarian. They don't want that either. I was hoping I wouldn't roll that because I didn't build that replacement where I needed it. Okay, let's get these back. And we start with the Allied action. While I'm doing that, you can look at the hand and advise what you think may be the best course of action for the Allies. Place a landing marker on Durrows of Lorraine, land 3 large combat units. I don't really have them at the moment. Surreal. Place him with any Allied large combat unit in the Balkans. So I think I'm going to play this. It's card number 28, which is just this. Place him with the Army of the Orient. All Allied units are activated as one nationality. Oh, that's great. So they can sack with the Serbians. Alright, and I get one more status for the Allies. I don't need it, but it does advance us towards an armistice. And I get 2 activations. I'm not going to attack with this force. Tempting, but no. Instead... what am I doing? I should have played replacements straight off, shouldn't I? Yeah, I think I need to do that. I'm going to undo all that work. Okay, look at the hand and say I am desperate for replacements. So this is going to replacements: 5 Allied, 3 Italian, 4 Russian. 3, 3, and 4? That's what it was? 3, 3, 4. Yep. That was played for replacements. Yeah, that's a much smarter move. Get some more, get some of these Russian units back on the board. Alright. And the Germans, who have just built their replacements last turn, who don't... they should, shouldn't they? Problem is I don't have many good cards. This is the Central Powers hand. Certainly playing Chlorine Gas is the only option I have for decent replacements. But it's German replacements that I need. So something like Rasputin. I've got Landwehr, which lets me rebuild 2 units if they're reduced. I've got this whole German stack here, which is not needed. In Krakow. Krakow is safe now. What have I got? 8. I've got the 16 forces that I need here. Got my cavalry. 6, 7, 8, 9. Do I not play replacements and just start attacking? I've got to attack with the Austrians. Let's do some manoeuvring. Oh crikey, there's not a lot of great things going on. Any allied attack containing an Austrian unit receives a -1. Any allied attack against Austrians. Okay. Any Central Powers attack, including a German unit, gets a +1. That'd be good for attacking Warsaw. What else have I got? Any attack that includes a German unit can't be played after, so this is useless. Let's play 3 ops. Let's get the Austrian attack out of the way. Oh geez, that's even tougher now. They've brought some units up and they've entrenched. I have to attack with a large combat unit. Oh my goodness. Alright, well I can combine these forces. Let's try that. Let's go attack, attack. And let's move. Now I'd love to just have another space. In fact, I'm going to... yeah, I'll do that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move these Austrians out of the way. I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. You may think, why am I vacating Tarnow? Because if the Russians really want to move down here, they'll be smashed. Outflanked and smashed. And the plan is to move the Germans back in there in a subsequent turn. It'd be great if I could do it this turn, but I just don't have the CP, the action points. So I've got a combined attack here. They're -1 because they're attacking across roads and mountain passes, which sucks. But we're looking at 10 +1 for the mountain troops, -1 for the mountains. They're shifted down to 6 to 8 because of the mountains, and then 5 because of the trench. So looking at 5 with no modifier versus 6, 7, 8, which pushes up to 9 +1 because they're in the mountains. It's not a nice attack, but they're hoping for a good die roll. 5, combat cards. Nothing. Do the allies want to play anything in response? Any central powers defense? Not a defense, so no. So we'll roll for the attacker. 5/5 is not bad. That's a 4 loss factor, and a 9 +1, 9/5 is a 5. Not bad. Okay, so they lose 5 on the defense. So we have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I might flip that army instead of that one, keep them at strength. And the Austrians lose 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're healthy. But that satisfies this dastardly Central Powers MO. Done. And we're providing opportunities to bring more Germans to the front. I really should be mixing up these reserve armies. I've got them all bunched together, which isn't great, but yeah, it's just the way it worked. All right, so what have we done? That was... I can't remember what the first... Oh, replacements. We played replacements, then we played ops. So now back to the Allies. They've got their replacements now. What's their MO? It is Russian, right? Ugh, fantastic. So I meant to save that because I feel the Germans are going to keep the pressure on Warsaw, and I'll have to activate some Russian troops. Look, the Austrians can easily remove. Look, they've got a large combat unit just sitting there behind the lines, and another one sitting behind the lines. So the Austrians have a surplus of large combat units. So this isn't an urgent sort of card to play. I mentioned I want to play Serail. I might hold on to that for now. I might bring on some Russian reinforcements just because I desperately need them. Card 37 from my force pool, and I'll bring them up in Riga, which seems... Oh, Minsk is pretty close as well. I can even build in Brest-Litovsk. There we go. Card 37. Look at this. This is a lot of cards. Guards, and a cavalry... Guards, cavalry corps. We'll throw them into the thick of it. Bring the other guys in. Minsk. Now we've got some big... This is the difference between Paths of Glory and... A big difference. And Illusions of Glory is they are placed so close to the front. They're one turn away from Warsaw. Remove... Okay. Russian guards, and that... Remove the Russian Guards infantry corps from the map board. The Russian Guard. Remove the Russian Guards. I imagine it's a blue unit. It's Grenadier. Remove the Russian Guards infantry corps. It'd have to be a big, strong... Guards corps. Remove it from the map board if it is supplied. I think we're okay there. Is that a supply source? No, it's not. Yep, so that's removed from the map board to eliminated units. It's gone. Because of that, I'm just going to bring one, maybe... Oh, sorry, wrong units. Where were they? I might bring 2 of these units down here, just in case this comes under pressure. Can't play before turn 8. It is turn 8, so it was after turn 8. So that's done. That's Russian reinforcements played. I'm pretty happy with that. That brings a lot of Russian forces on. Now puts pressure on the Germans to get attacking quickly. And maybe the Austrians want to have a go as well, although they're not strong. They're not strong in Shenov. It's a defensive position. I've got this army in Stanislaw as well. Just sitting there, poised to reinforce the region. The Russians haven't met their MO yet. They will have to attack at some stage. Okay. Central Powers turn 2. Do I bring these Austrian reinforcements on, or do I keep the pressure on the Russians? I want to capture Warsaw. They're at 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 16 easily. I can also attack. I can move these forces in. I might throw 3 ops. All right, let's keep the pressure on as promised. 1, 2, and then let's move. Let's move. Yeah, my commander up there. Right, so these leaders, they basically added +2 dice roll modifier to a combat that they're involved in. And we've got this attack on Warsaw. Now I can play Tannenberg, which gives me a plus. I can play allied attack. Yeah, I can play Tannenberg. Give me a +1 dice roll modifier. And I've still got my cavalry here, so it'll be +2. That'd almost guarantee me anything but a 1 would guarantee me a 7 loss factor. So I might play Tannen. I probably don't need it. I'm going to hold on to it. I think the ops, I can save it for later. So we're looking at 16 goes down to 15 because of the trench, +1 for my cavalry. And the Russians have got 6, 7, 8, 9 goes up to 12 +1 for their cavalry. Do the Allies want to play a combat card? Any Central Powers defense? No, it's not a defense. I said that earlier. Okay, so looking at 15 +1 versus 12 +1 for the cavalry because it's in a clear space. All right. Hey, it's a 7 versus 12 +1. That's a 7 as well. So 7 on 7. That's good for the Russians. 7 on 7. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. There's no way we can satisfy the full 7. So 4, 5, 6, and then we'll ignore the final point. Yep. And then the Russians have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, and then they'll lose that to they don't have to cancel the retreat because there is no retreat. But again, you'll notice Warsaw is now really weak again, while the Germans still have a strength of 15 now. Okay. Now, okay, so that was ops for the Central Powers. Now the Allies can play Serail. Okay, so it gives me now that one. I think I didn't. No, war status. Serail, it's card 28. So he comes down to the Army of the Orient. Now he appears. He was just visiting earlier. He appears. He is removed, and I get 2 ops. So now I can bring these guys in, and I'll bring these guys as well. So they're not activated for combat. Oh, actually, I said, sorry. I need to activate the Russians for combat somewhere. So we'll move those. Can I get off a quick combat somewhere that's not going to be too... Oh, I moved these guys. Let me undo that. I didn't realize these are Russians, not Austrians. instead of moving them up, I'll move them up. I moved them from Gaulish, thinking these were Austrians. I misread the situation. I'll move that force in instead. Okay, so can the Russians attack somewhere that is not going to be too punitive? I think the short answer is no. Grodno is looking pretty strong. I've got 9. There's a trench there. Trench there. Trench there. I think we're looking to attack out of Przemysl against. Oh, that's a mountain there. Okay, I can. That's water there. I've only got 1 extra op because of the 2 ops card. Chernovitz is a terrible place to attack. I know that much. I think Przemysl. I've got to attack out of Przemysl, but where? Towards Turka. Attack the Austrians. Keep the Austrians weak. But we've already got. Oh, we don't have. So okay, let's attack out of here. This will satisfy that Russian MO, and it's not too bad. So then, it's not winter, is it? No, it's not winter. Okay, so their 9 goes down to 8. There are no mountain troops, so it's sorry, it's not 8. It is their 9 goes down to 6 to 8. Yeah, so it's 6 to 8 versus 9 to 11. Pretty straightforward. No other modifiers unless they want to play a combat card. A Central Powers defense that includes an Austrian unit gets a -1 dice or modifier, and if they're entrenched, trench effect are cancelled. I could play it. -1 dice or a modifier. I don't really care. -1 to Austrian National Will, but Austrian National Will is already really high. So I'm not going to play that. I'm not going to bother. Okay, so, and the Central Powers, so they want to play anything. Where'd it go? An allied attack against a space containing an Austrian unit. May as well, eh? They've got the, I think they've got the, they've got a bit of a buffer. -1 dice for a modifier. It'll just mean I don't really care that much, to be honest. So no. The Austrians just want to defend. They don't really care so much about if they take losses, they take losses. So no modifiers. So we're just gonna get 9. 9 attacker goes down to 6 to 8 versus 9 defender. That is a 5 versus a 3. Should have used that -1. I wouldn't have had any effect anyway. So 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then flipped and 5. And we'll remove that to cancel the retreat, because I can cancel the retreat in the mountains. They would have had to retreat otherwise. And 3, the Russians just flipped that. That's actually pretty good combat for the Russians. They just lose 1. Don't have to resolve the 3rd because they can't. And that satisfies that Russian MO. So yeah, the Russians got off pretty nicely through a good die roll. Yep. They won the combat, forced the cancellation of the retreat, killed off. That reduces Austrian troop quality. Okay, and the Austrians now, just fixing these armies up. The Austrians have 2 armies. But look at this Russian stack. Okay, so that is their MO. That was an event because it was a yellow card. Okay, Central Powers. Are we keeping the pressure on the Russians? Is that what we're going to do? Oh, sorry, end the movement here. I should have done this first. Apologies. We're going to go 1, 2, reinforce that. These guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what can I do? I might entrench Brest-Litovsk. No, I'm going to entrench it. Success. It's Russian. Yeah, but these armies behind the line, they're happy. I've got the reserves here now to move into Warsaw and hold on to it. So the Germans are they're constantly, this battle for Warsaw has been going and going and going. The Germans just cannot break it. They're burning through. How long can these Russian reserves hold out? Well, there's your answer. They've got 2 little small combat units left. They are going to have to start playing more replacements. It's just got so many armies they can keep throwing at the front. I think they've managed this pretty well. Okay, so how are the Germans going to respond? More attacks on Warsaw. We can play Landwehr now to immediately rebuild my units. I've met my MOs. I've got more. I can do another attack here on a Van. This is going to be painful, I know. It's a strength of 7. The Russians will attack first. They're German reserve armies, but I've got a strength of 16 on 7, so I vastly outnumber them. Even with losses, I think I'll still have 16. And then I can attack Warsaw. Or I just play some replacements. So I might use chlorine gas. Oh, you know what? Is that a good opportunity to reduce? Maybe I just start. If I attack here, reduce them, that goes down to a 2. I've got 4, that brings them to 6. Doesn't change the column, but it means that any losses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, it just makes it really hard for the Russians to sustain those losses. It's a shame I've got so many bad cards. 2, 3, 2, 2. So the Russians, like looking at the situation, the Russians have all these armies. What they don't have are the reserves. This is their problem right now. So this is that impact of that sustained German pressure. They're losing these armies. They're losing troop quality. Yes, they've got a lot of armies. They can keep throwing at the front, but the reserves, the national reserves, are struggling. And that's what they can't sustain. And that's what the Central Powers need to think about. It's like, okay, yeah, we want to capture Warsaw, we want to capture Volgograd, but I think the way we do that is by forcing the Russians not to keep throwing troops at it, to start rebuilding their small combat units, their reserves. And maybe just throwing, look, I don't know. I attack Volgograd. They just counter by throwing armies at it. It's just, I'm at a bit of a loss here. I don't know what to do. I really want to just keep attacking Warsaw. 6, 7, 8, 9. What happens if that's flipped? That goes down to a 3, bring down to 6 to 8. I'm thinking about chlorine gas, but it's my only 4-op card in my hand. You know what? I might play Landwehr for the 1 VP and the 2 RPs to repair German units on the board. And I'll just go, you're healthy and you're healthy. That's just a simple event done. And that does give the Central Powers the Allied Powers some breathing space. But what can they do? More replacements, I think. And I might play this one because I don't really care about that Austrian revolt. So 2 more Allied, 2 more Italian, which I probably don't need, and 1, 2, 3 more Russian, which is needed. So replacements. Replacements can't play as consecutive, which is fine. Now the Central Powers are like, okay, now we need to play replacements. Now we'll play chlorine gas for the replacement, so we get two. That's funny. There's an H missing from that card. All right, that is replacements. Central Powers replacements. All right, the Allies again with a bit more breathing space. They could kind of configure their lines, throw a lot more strength into Warsaw if they want. They could reinforce Volgograd. I could play this 4-op card to just to strengthen my lines. It might be a good idea. I don't want to play this yet because basically there's if I reduce all the Ottoman forces, then they just get rebuilt. So I'm thinking 4 ops just to strengthen the Russian lines. I'm going to play this for ops, 4 ops. It's going to be an allied ops card, and I'm just going to bring some stronger units to the front. Move, and then yeah, here are the move 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So I'm going to move the cavalry 1, 2, 3. Yep, bring an infantry up there. Bring the cavalry 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Move into Lutsk just in case, and I'll try and entrench here as well if I can eventually. And over here, I'm going to try and get some of these small combat units out of the way. So it's these 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Move the cavalry together. They'll hold there. Then I'll get this. I get this cavalry unit 1, 2 to Bialystok, and then move my guards cavalry up into the line, and move these guys down to Vangorod. All right, so I've really strengthened both those places. Not really strengthened, but just some more full strength large combat units. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think it was a good allied action. Warsaw is now 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They'll be looking at 15 column plus 1. So they're effectively almost guaranteed a 7 loss factor on the Germans. And poor Germans are they've been bashing their head against the wall without much success. Alright, so that was ops. Central powers, they don't have much to do. We'll bring in some more Austrian reinforcements. There we go. This is card number 30 from our force pool, which are some nice Austrian reinforcements. Remove all Austrian small cavalry units and put them in the reserve box. Okay, just making sure there's nothing. There aren't many actually, so I'm gonna pile them up here. There aren't many. I'll move that away for now. Yes, there are some over here. Okay. I do hate this move marker. And then remove them all, place them in the reserve box. Each infantry unit comes on the map board if troop quality is 1. Can't be played before summer. No, that's fine. So I'm playing that for the event. I would like to, it was this one, really reinforce this part of the front. Maybe you can get some cavalry. And I'll put a cavalry in Belgrade as well to bring them over to the east. So I've got some reinforcements ready to come to the Italian front. That'll really bolster the situation on the Italian front. All right, so Trieste has a full strength there. Cabaret is looking really vulnerable. Italians haven't attacked there, but yeah, they can bolster that. It doesn't matter if that falls. I can just pull back. Okay, and now you go to the reserve box, making sure there are no other Austrian cavalry units. Cavalry, small combat unit, cavalry, yep. And making sure I've left no gaps either. I don't think so, they're all stacked with units, so that's fine. This is spare Austrian there, spare Austrian there. The Austrians are okay. Yep. So that was an event. Last allied turn. I could play some more. Look. Okay, what I'm thinking is I've got 5 Italian replacements, and they've got nothing to build. So I am going to go on the attack with the Austrians. I'm going to play this combat card for 3 ops, and I'm going to go. Oh, actually, I do have some weakness there. I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. We're going to gain some ground. Okay. So 3 combat. We're doing a joint attack. Oh, this is. I forgot there was water there. That's okay. We're gonna suffer, but we can rebuild. Okay, we're gonna suffer, but we will rebuild. All right. So 3 ops, 3 attacks on the Italian front. Let's do it. We have 6, 7, 8 against 2. Okay, my 8 goes down to 5 because of the mountains, but I do have a +1 because I've got my mountain infantry there. Versus the Austrian 2 +1. That's it. They're mountain infantry as well. And they're small as well. So my large 5 +1 is 5 loss factor. That'll wipe out the Austrians. Versus their 2 small will cause 2 on me. So I have to flip my mountain infantry. They are sent to eliminated, and I can now advance my armies. Right, so that worked out well. Caporetto, I will play a combat card. I've got War Weary Austro-Hungarians. Any Central Powers defense that includes an Austrian large combat unit is -1 dice roll modifier. Right, so I have got 6, 9 plus 6 is 15. Alright, so before anything happens, the Austrians will attack first because of the water. So you can see here it's water, offensive fire 1 to the left, defender fires first. So they are looking at 5, but because of this it's -1 dice roll modifier. Any other modifiers? Galicia doesn't have a trench for some reason. And I can't cancel the retreat from here either. I didn't realise that. Oh, so it's 7. Sorry, it's a fortification. So 7, even if it did have a trench, they'd be cancelled because of this card. So 7 -1 is 2. That's a result of 3. So basically the Italians just go, okay, there's 2. I can't satisfy the other one, so we ignore it. Yep. Now the Italians say, okay, we've got 12, 13, 14 now. It is 1 to the left because of the water. Oh, sorry, do the Central Powers... Oh, I'll play this as well. Any allied attack against an Austrian gets a -1 dice roll modifier. So they'll be -1. I'll keep it there for a reminder in a moment. So we're looking at 14, 1 to the left because of the water. No other terrain in the hex. So we're looking at 9 to 11, -1 is 3, is a 4 loss factor. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The Austrians win that combat 4 to 3. So the Austrians have to retreat 1 space, and the... Oh wait, it was another -1 because of the mountains. So that brings it down to 4 minus... so it's 4 minus 2 is still 4 loss factors. So the same result. 12, 1 column to the left. Yeah, -2. -1 for the card. Another -1 for the roads. Yeah, same result. The Austrians can move into and lay siege to Galicia. And they may as well move in 3 armies. And it is besieged. Austrians should have built trenches there. They didn't. And -1 to Austro-Hungarian national will. Where is their national will? Because they lost that combat and they are war weary. Okay, so pressure on the Austrians. They shouldn't really be feeling the pressure. They've got a lot of forces. They just didn't prepare very well for that Italian front offensive. That said, they used their combat cards pretty well, and that was an ops. Now they kind of need to respond because Trieste isn't particularly well defended, and there are no trenches in this vicinity. So they've only got 1 card left. It's 2 ops. We'll play it for the ops. We will move and move. And I'm going to move the cavalry down to Trieste because it's a clear space. I'm going to move the infantry 1, follow the rail line, 1, 2 into Caporetto to strengthen that. And I'm going to entrench in Trieste, try to entrench, success. Okay, whew. Bit of relief. All right, so yes, they are laying siege to Gorizia, but they haven't captured it yet. I'm sure they will. And that was the last action, which was just ops. Both MOs are met. Attrition siege phase. So we roll for the siege of Gorizia. Ooh, I think that's a failure. You need more than... It's not... Roll if the number is higher than the fort. So it's still under siege. Okay, it's they're vulnerable to a counterattack now. Quite a few, and it is a clear terrain space. And we've got some cavalry. Got a lot of Austrians ready to counterattack Gorizia. Okay. Siege phase, war status phase. The Germans still not at 11. Unbelievable. They are really lagging behind. No revolutions, rebellions, replacements. Allies first. We have got a lot. 5 allied, which is basically there, and that's about all we have. We have got, oh wait, we can move 1 allied to the Russians. So let's do that. The Russians have got a lot of replacements. We've got 5 Italian replacements. 1, 2, 3 and a half. That's it. Oh, 4.5. I think it was. Anyway, they're at full strength, so don't need to worry about the others. And the important one is 8 Russian. 8 Russian. Okay, where are our weaknesses? 1. 1.5. 2. Okay, now we start rebuilding this unit. So that's 2 that I've spent. Everyone else is... So if I spent 2, I've got 6 left, and I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which rebuilds troop quality by 3. 1, 2, 3. I've rebuilt 3 full strength units. Throw them in Brest-Litovsk, which is a supply source. Another big Russian stack ready to rush to the front. Poor Germans are just looking at this going, oh, are you kidding me? Okay, Central Powers, and that's the 8 Russians. 1 Central Powered ally. I don't think they've suffered any losses. I can't see any. No, so they're fine. We have 2 Austro-Hungarian, and the Germans can send 1 to the Turks, which they don't need. So 2 Austrian, 1. Oh, geez. 2, got some losses scattered around. 2 Austrians, done. I didn't notice that Russian step there. That's fine. And then 4 German. Half. Actually, no, we'll leave that half there, and we'll just go... Oh, the Germans have nothing. I should not have used my reserves to the front, whatever it was called. That's it. The Germans are at full strength. The Turks are at full strength as well. Okay, folks, that's the end of the turn. I might wrap it up here. Let's just see out the end of the turn. Replacement strategy draw. Let's just see what the Germans get. So many... Oh, this is a much better hand. Look at that. No 2s. Excellent. The Allies, I'll show you what they get. Not great. Brusilov, a lot of Total War cards, but they're not good Total War cards. Brusilov's great. Brusilov and Brusilov offensive, so he gets the headquarters. More Russian reinforcements. Stavka, finally. Okay. Okay. Strategy draw, end of turn, so we advance the turn marker, we get it ready. We're heading into winter. Actually, did I forget to advance the turn marker last turn? Because I'm pretty sure this was... No, that was turn 9 and turn 10. So heading into winter 1917. I'll wrap it up here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. A recap of the situation. Allies will go first. They'll try to lay siege to Gorizia to destroy the fort. But really, I mean, it's a pretty balanced situation here. It's just that the Italians kind of seized a jump on the Austrians in Gorizia, which wasn't entrenched. Balkans is pretty quiet. Not a lot happening down there. Romania still not in the war and haven't seen their card yet. And a stalemate. Really, it's a stalemate along the eastern front. The Germans have gained Gilce, but that's it. They've really smashed the... I said the Russians were going to rebuild some core, and they didn't. Let me just reconsider that. Instead of rebuilding that army, I will rebuild an elite core. No, I've got plenty of elite core. Another... Alright, so instead of rebuilding that one army for two, I'll rebuild these two core because I need it, which does mean that their troop quality doesn't increase as much. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I was building so many Russian replacements. So the Russians now a bit more breathing space. Plenty of armies. I mean, look at this. They've got they've got so many sort of armies close to the front, core I should say, large combat units, ready to be rushed into the fighting should they be needed. They've done really well, gotta say, under this sustained pressure. The Germans have not, well, they've gained one space in several years of fighting. Victory is balanced. It is 15. That's a tie, basically. We are net zero. So what can happen? Romania will probably enter the war soon. I can tell you it's not in my hand. The Central Powers are not at total war yet, and it's 1917. That's a failing. Can they get there this turn? No, they don't have a war status card. So they've really struggled to get to total war. The Balkans is pretty quiet. There's not a lot of... It's just balanced, a stalemate. Greece still neutral. Yeah.